air conditioning went on.
Oui, Wajia, bonjour. We are privileged in Montreal. This is the 32nd edition of the Montreal International First Peoples Festival, and we have fantastic guests from everywhere in the world. And well, I think the duo digging route, they are from everywhere in the world because they travel so much. Alors, Raven, ShoShona, be very welcome in Montreal, and on the Indigenous side of Présence Autochtone, who can feel at home. You especially,
It's great to be on Mohawk territory.
Yes, you are Polson Lash. You have an affiliation with the Anishinabe and another one with the Ghanaian of Ganawag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm at home.
Yes. So what can we expect tonight? A great show, I know, but
yeah, I think that we want to bring music from our new album,
The Healer.
Yeah, and we want to, I guess, tell a few stories of things that we picked up along the road, and things that we learned about in the pandemic, and just the life that we've been living, and I think we've done a lot of it, and made made that good life, even though we were locked up during the pandemic. We cooked a lot of good food. We recorded an album, and we just made the best of the situation. Yeah, and I think we'll bring that tonight.
Yes, and the title refers obviously to healing, and in the interview I gave to the media, I said it's interesting. You have the name Digging Roots, but when we are going to our roots, it's not going to the past. On the contrary, it's to get the strength to look toward the future. And I had the feeling that the Healer is, in a sense, an almost optimistic album. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're probably optimistic to a fault, even, but we are lucky enough to come from families that have, really worked to retain and reclaim who we are as people and our stories and our traditions and our ceremonies. And I think that this presents a way of seeing the world that, is essentially optimistic. So I think we're raised that way. We don't really get credit for it, but I think we're talking about the truth of all of that gorgeous connection to land and family and tradition, and both looking back and looking forward and seeing where we are right now, and also the struggle of where we are right now, and that weight of colonialism and that burden that we have inherited, and hope to perhaps clear a path and pass less on to the future. And I think that essentially is what the record is speaking to.
And also what is very particular to Digging Roots, and this is one of the reasons we are always so happy to have you here, is as Indigenous person, you are concerned by the communities and the nation. You are not only good looking, good feeling, good composers and singers. You are that, obviously, but there is more you want to carry in your shows, in your art.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're part of a community that we love very much, and who supports us and really defines the goodness of our life, helps us stand upright on our road. So I think, it's really important and to us to give back to our community. We're very motivated by that. And We love. We were just talking about this because we started a record company this
Good.
year ago, and so we're working very hard on our own music and our own projects.
It was part of your cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's part of the cooking. It's called Ishkode Records, and
Wow.
it's Ishkode and Anishinabe and Onkwehonwe fire, and it's really about prophecy and about the 7 fires prophecies and about the lighting of that 8th fire, which we hope to be a part of. But we were just talking about how excited we are about the other artists in our community and how excited we are to support them. And the record label gives us the opportunity to do that, to really have a meaningful tool and, resource to support other voices.
Yes. I met you, I think the last time it was during WOMEX when you had this big conference in Montreal.
Oh, yes.
And you have initiate Indigenous section within that huge organization.
Yeah.
And now this club also, can you speak about how you see yourself as a leader and trailblazers for other Indigenous artists?
Well, I think we were talking about this again today earlier. This is just the stuff that bounces around inside our conversations, I guess.
Yeah.
But we were talking about these successful artists that are Indigenous, but maybe don't allow that to shine in their music, or they don't use their identity to. It's hidden, I guess, and I think that from where we come from, we're out of the closet. Like we come out with our colors and who we are, and it's not like we need to be overly anything. It's actually we're just kind of ourselves. It's the way that we were raised by our folks and our community and where we come from. I think that being musicians and artists, for me, it's being an Anishinabe and Onkwehonwe man, that those roots just naturally come out anyway. It's not like I can.
You don't have to dig them.
Yeah, they're already like coming up and growing, and you can see them around the tree. Yeah. But I think that because of that, like we've been doing this music for a while now, and sort of doing some ice breaking along the paths. And I know for myself that it's been really important to make a road for those younger artists that can be safe in those spaces too, because we've done a lot of work where it wasn't safe for us, and where we've had like maybe some racist incidents or
just understanding or
just generally like uneducated motivations. I think motivations happened because people were uneducated about something, people making assumptions, people even being violent, and I think that it's important for us, and it's been important for me to try to bring that up with artistic directors or places where these things have happened, because I don't want the younger generation to experience that. And of course, things will always happen, but if we can make a difference in that, it's very important, because I think that what's going on, not just in the music world, but in this country, is there's a certain amount of a colonial mindset that tends to operate beyond the humanity of someone.
Beyond the goodwill, there is always that mindset.
And it gets in the way of so many important things. And I think what you're doing here is so important, and elevating Indigenous voices and amplifying those stories. And I believe we need them. It's medicine for our communities and for us as people, but it's also important medicine for the larger community and for the world. And I think that's that's what inspires us and motivates us. We know how powerful music can be. So we just want to like break it all open for these young voices that are coming up, and also for some of our elder artists who have never really been heard, you know, and have maybe not received the support that they needed because those things weren't there at their and when they were starting out. It's just like doing our best to change the game, because there's more, you know, there's so much more, and there's so much amazing creativity, and also like world-changing ideas, world-building ideas that are seated in our community, and we want to pave a road for that to be where, you know, take its rightful place. It's exciting for me.
And it's been important to have a narrative that's us. You know, like I did an interview, I think it was 2 days ago, and this person asked me, you know, what was it like working with Willie Dunn when I was younger? Because my first professional gigs and, you know, plays as a musician were with Willie Dunn, and I said, well, I grew up hearing his music, and I could identify myself in his music, much like in television, you know, like at the time it was all a Hollywood Indian, and it was very stereotypical, and that's not what I felt like, you know. Whereas when I was working with Willie, that music was like, oh, you know, it was so inspiring, and the stories behind it, and there were stories that happened in our communities and happened in our families, and I think that was super important. And you know, and it's kind of fun. Like we were in BC, I don't know, I think it was just before the pandemic, and we're just walking down the street, and we're, I don't know, going to get sushi or something, and this young lady came up, and she's like, oh my God, are you guys digging roots? and she was like, your first album, it got me right through university. I was studying Indigenous studies or whatever, and you know, and I just played your album all the time because of the things that you were talking about, or the things that I grew up with, and the things that we were talking about in her program. You know, so it was like, oh, it was so fantastic, and such a beautiful thing for somebody to say.
Yes, I had the same experience almost yesterday. Leonard Sumners, who was on stage yesterday. I asked him because I knew he was studying in media and communication. I said, how did you switch from journalism to a musician? And he told me, it's here that happened. I came with short films, Présence autochtone. I saw Shawit on the stage, and then I thought I need to go there. So that's interesting. And 10 years after, he was there on the stage show. There is a lot of seeds. We don't see them when we throw them. We don't know where they land, but suddenly the future is there.
Well, I think that we're making opportunities for people, like in our own community, by doing the work that we're doing. I know that, you know, in our community, the elders have always said, you know, you need to do your work, your life's work. If you do your life's work, things will blossom, the garden will get bigger and better because you're doing your work, right? And I think, you know, all the work that we're doing collectively from an Indigenous perspective helps to plant the seeds for that upcoming generation.
Yes, exactly. So thank you very much. We are looking forward to the beautiful concert with beautiful weather. So it will be fantastic. And I think you are going to have an interview in the radio in Kanawagé tomorrow, no? I was there, and they are really happy to have you back home for an interview.
It's gonna be good. We're gonna get to go and visit. Spend some time with family after this. So
perfect. Okay, thank you very much, and well, I will be there to enjoy the show.
Nice.
Yes, awesome.
Miigwech.
Wegwe Magia, rebonjour. We have, as I said before, we are very privileged during the Montreal International First Peoples Festival. We have guests from all around the Indian country, and I am happy today to present you Joe Buffalo, our special guest this year. And you are here with Vans and skateboard platform. And many people, I am sure, wondering, skateboard, Indigenous, what is the connection?
Well, I mean, because there's no real structure with skateboarding. There's no coaches. There's no teammates. You know, it's pretty much like in its rawest form. It's like probably it's a pretty. It's not like an organized sport like hockey, you know, or anything that requires lots of money. And so, you know, some of the best skateboarders I know come from broken homes and single parents, and they just pick it up and figure it out at a very young age. So once they have the foundation and they're able to apply themselves a little further in it, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a beautiful thing. But I mean, on top of that, with Nation Skate Youth, our not-for-profit, what we do is we go to Indigenous communities and we instill skateboarding in them with the Indigenous youth right on their communities. So in the beginning, we did a call out for donations, and then we started a GoFundMe, and then Vans Canada gave us 100 pairs of shoes, and then we did a tour with that, and that snowballed into just us being direct with every sponsor that we have now. And so that just allowed us to be able to think about the unachievable, and we can, you know, achieve them. And so it helps to have a lot of support. And on top of that, you know, Indigenous people are just automatically talented from the day they're born. You know what I mean? We just have the upper hand because we're native, you know, and our attachment to the land and language and culture. You know what I mean? It gives us a head start on everyone else. So to get something like a skateboard underneath you, you know, we're gonna be the best. It's just how it is, you know, no matter what.
I saw also we have another guest now, Midlasses, who is from the Navajo land, and she is doing skate. We will have tomorrow Andrea Ottawa, who will come from Manwan with a young Atikamek. They have started to do skateboard. So we can see what you said exactly, that this is something that naturally seems to come to the young Indigenous to get on the skate.
Also, for me, it was like an outlet that I needed so very much. Like, given the fact that I had gone to these institutions where I was forced to, it was like a kid's jail. You know what I mean? And so, by having a skateboard at my side, it wasn't like having a hockey stick or a lacrosse stick or soccer cleats, you know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was the one thing that kept me sane when I was in a place that was really dark. So, you know, it was very much a tool and very much a positive outlet for me, because once I was able to travel and I saw other people with skateboards, it didn't matter skin color, language, nothing. I saw the kid, you know, skateboard. It was like instantly we were friends, embracement. It was love, you know? And so that feeling I got purely just by being involved and by having it at my side for so many years, you know. And so, yeah, we want to show the youth that, you know, there's so many positive avenues you can go down with skateboarding. You know, you may not be the best skateboarder, but you could, let's say you can make the clothing, or you can make the edits, or you could build the ramps, or you could, you know, there's so many different possibilities and positive avenues you can go down with skateboarding. And so that's what we like to show to the youth, you know what I mean? That if you're not the very best, then there's other things that you can do, you know? And so, Yeah, when I was young, I didn't have anyone my age who was older to be able to teach me these things. You know what I mean? I had to go through the system. I had to go through decades of, you know what I mean, figuring it out on my own. Because how I was raised, I didn't really like ask questions. I was just like, I got this. You know, it was more like I didn't. That's just how I was wired. So to be able to help confidence build with the youth and help them build confidence and knowing like, if we can do it, you can do it. You know, then it just shows them that there's, you know, there's opening and there's little like windows of bright light that we offer. So try and get them before the bad guys do, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are very happy to open this year the section we were not expecting at all. It's like you land from planet Mars, but not, you are not from planet Mars. You are one of our own First Nation guys. And really, we are really proud to have you here.
Well, you guys are visitors here on Indigenous land. You're on stolen land. So you're really the visitors here.
That's what you have to send to the people outside. But here, well, at least we are on an Haudenosaunee land, so we are on. We borrow.
You stole. You didn't borrow.
Yes, it has been stolen, but with the festival, we are slowly taking it back. That's
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having us out here in the first annual Presence Actacton. And if there's any other Indigenous youth that are out there, bring your cousins and bring your sisters and your brothers, and everyone's welcome. Come on out. We have skateboards for you all. And we got patience for everyone to be able to pass on the gift of skateboarding.
Perfect. So thank you very much. And we are looking to have a long-term collaboration with Vance, with Joe Buffalo, and to have more and more Indigenous young persons that find in skateboarding a tool for personal development and accomplishment. Thank you to be there.
Thanks for having me.